I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villageXchange@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
Rubbish. That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 here and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed.
Here we are, back again for the final song.
Child shall lead them. Now, if you're a cornball and you're just in regular YouTube world, then you're watching this as a regular upload, and in order to catch us again, you're going to have to catch us at...
Another live stream.
What time is it?
Oh.
11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
If Vin
this is
schedules.
probably going to be on the main stage. I mean, the underground section.
If Vin
this is a
schedules
song that has been massively requested for years.
Yes. Okay, this is so cute. Let me read this.
One particular kid who has been saying, "Kreator, enemy of God."
Yes, okay. So he says, Code Slammer says, I want to do a song I've been seeing someone request in like every single one of your videos for a while now. I've never even heard it before, but I want to give that guy a crack at it. So do Kreator, enemy of God for Zokor. Right? Is that how you would say that? Zokor? Or
yes.
Zokor? Zokor?
Yes, for Zokor in the comments. We need to put that up. When we do that, we got to put...
for Zokor on the thumbnail.
On there,
yeah, that's true. So Code Slammer...
Shout out to Zokor. Shout out to Code Slammer.
You know, sometimes people will be in the comment section, they'll be like, what? You know, $125 for a song reaction, or even once you do it 3 times, then it goes down to $75 per song. And even when people hear the 75, they'll be like, oh, what? Some people will be...
shit, he's here!
Yay!
Hey! Shout out to Zokor.
What are the chances?
What are the odds?
Yeah, so anyway,
odds?
With keeping that in mind, I think it's absolutely crazy when somebody else will buy a song for somebody else.
I know.
Like, instead of picking one, because I'm sure everybody has millions of songs that they want to be able to share with the community, but here goes Code Slammer.
Unbelievable.
Getting a song for Zokor because he's been seeing it.
Yeah.
You know, like being aware of other people's requests. That's just crazy.
I know.
Awesome.
I know.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for doing that, Code Slammer.
Put Code Slammers up there. Here
you go, buddy.
Oh,
that's like when we first started watching Fortnite.
Yeah.
And people would, Evan would give me the little drinks and stuff. And you'd be like, oh, it's so cute. He's helping you.
Yeah.
All right. Viva la Brasil. Andre Luis. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out to the homie. All right, guys, here we
thing.
go.
Okay, so Kreator,
enemy of God for the big homie Zokor. This is Zokor Scream, bitches. Let's go. Okay. Thrash. Okay.
Who's this thing?
Slayer shit. Hard, bro. Yes! I gotta turn this shit up. Straight down the fucking here. Let's go, bro. Let's go! I knew it!
For the deafened facade of their
Holy smokes!
Wow.
That song was badass, bro. I really enjoy it.
You know what? Now I remember
riffage.
seeing it in the comment section.
Oh yeah, that happens so often.
Yep.
Kreator, enemy of God. Kreator, enemy of God. Kreator, enemy of God.
Yes.
Unbelievable. That was thrash. And Ben Webb likes this band, so
He does?
yeah.
Oh my God, me and Ben both like something that's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh no, we both like you.
Both like me.
Yeah.
Ben loves me though. Ben loves me.
And I don't?
Ben looks out for me. He it's the highlight of his day when I talk to him. That's why he refused to give me his phone number.
I know. Get his address because I'm gonna
because talking to me
get
is the highlight
his
of
address
day.
because I'm gonna send this to him.
I can barely get my buddy Perk to respond to me when I text him.
Okay, Ben Webb, send us your address because I have something I'm gonna send you right there. That's for Ben.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I would co-sign giving that to Ben. Shout out to the homie Ben.
Yep.
Man, this song was insane, guys. It was crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let me pull up the lyrics here. Some of the lyrics is just crazy, right?
God.
Failure of structures manipulate deviant crimes.
Well, it starts off by shocked Orwellian races gather united in grief. So that's George Orwell. He's a guy that wrote Animal Farm in 1984.
Oh.
Yeah, so usually when people say we're going into Orwellian times,
I don't like the album cover. It's very disgusting.
They're talking about his book 1984, where you have Big Brother, government,
Yeah.
government, Big Brother, and then you've got doublespeak, and everything is like flipped on its head, and it's about government control, basically.
Okay.
Government controlling the masses, and et cetera, et cetera. There's Perk. What? I do respond to you. Check your phone, bitch. All right, we continue.
Ben Webb, send me your address because that's going to get sent to you if you want it, but you don't know what it is, so send the address. Anyway.
That's Montgomery. I just finished Animal Farm from school.
Aw. Okay, so you're
we did
saying...
a Middle America breakdown on that. If you can check it out on the Middle America page. We did an Animal Farm breakdown. So when people say Orwellian,
Yep.
they're generally talking about 1984.
Oh, okay.
And the idea of the government and then to Joe's point, people reporting each other and all that shit to the government. These people were like active stooges of the government.
Yeah.
So he says, shocked Orwellian races gather united in grief. Nothing is left from the world they have known, grotesque, indifferent belief. Systems have failed, rules can't control, corrupt dictators forever be thrown, lies of the priests, trust of the blind, failure of structures, manipulate deviant crimes. All nations hail the end of peace. New dawn, inception of disease, age of revenge has now been born by the mother of all wars. So this is like a post-apocalyptic dystopia type of situation. Like there's been a giant, World War III has just happened.
Okay.
And now everybody is basically every man for himself. It's kind of like a bad version of anarchy. When people criticize anarchy, and I'm just getting this because of my exposure to the channel, but a lot of times when people criticize anarchy, they're criticizing a caricature of anarchy. They're not actually criticizing what the anarchists themselves say about what they're trying to accomplish. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So in this world, all the structures have failed. Every major institution has collapsed. There's a world war. And now all you have is disease and revenge killings. That's what happens, right? Like, we've been covering this on Middle America, where people are very concerned, and rightly so, about the Taliban initiating all these revenge killings.
Right.
A lot of this has to do with our government relying on the short memory of its constituents. And so, for example, here it's dated 2001. Near an abandoned Taliban
I'm pretty sure Britney's
bunker.
still not free completely, so free Britney.
Yeah, was that Britney?
Well, it looks like Britney to me, but...
Near an abandoned Taliban bunker, Northern Alliance soldiers dragged a wounded Tali soldier out of a ditch today. As the terrified man begged for his life, the Alliance soldiers pulled him to his feet, and then I'm not going to tell you what happened next, but it didn't go well for him. Inshallah, he's now at peace in Al Firdaus somewhere, inshallah. But here you see, like, this is what happened. So, like, that's one of the things about the social media age and all the rest of it, is that now you're seeing things that are just normal to humanity in real time.
Yep.
And so you're seeing some of these killings and things of that nature. People are like completely shocked by it. Like the shit that happened earlier this week with the media, where they were talking about, you know, Afghanistan. They were showing all these people at the airport and all the rest of it. And it's all designed to make you think a certain way. And make you vote a certain way, or make you support certain actions. That shit is not new. And when we came over there, because the Northern Alliance and the Taliban were already beefing with each other hard, heavy. They'd already been killing each other, fighting each other heavy. And then we came in because of the whole 9/11 situation. We shifted the balance of power. And when we did that, almost the entire senior leadership of the Tally were killed. And it wasn't killed in like a combat operation. They were surrendered. It was over. And they got massacred by the Northern Alliance and the people there. Now, we all know, we've heard, none of us really know about the supposed atrocities of the Taliban. All we know is what our media tells us. Say it that way. I don't think they're good people. I don't think the Tally are comprised of good people. What I'm saying is, our media tries to make it, oh, look at this, they're doing these revenge killings. But when we were doing the revenge killings with the Northern Alliance, everything was okay, because we were pissed off because we were 2 months removed from 9/11. So I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. I didn't care if you were innocent or not. I don't care. Like I want to see some fucking bodies hit that fucking ground, bro. After 9/11, that was my mentality at the time. So now what people are, but in 2001 we didn't have social media and things like that. So everything we heard was just from Fox News or CNN. And honestly, at that point, it was Fox News for me, because CNN hated America or whatever it was, right? So now we're seeing what it actually looks like. You know, Americans who were just willy-nilly saying, oh yeah, let's go to war, let's bomb these people. Okay, now you get to look at, this is what happens. This is American foreign policy in action. Do you have the stomach for it? Like, if you don't have the stomach for it, that's the thing that kills me about Americans, man. It's like, Americans are like, yeah, let's go to war, let's do this, let's do that. But then they don't have the stomach to look at the ramifications of what it looks like. It's like, you know, this kid, I mean, he's a kid. And, you know, Nipsey Hussle was a rapper, and he got killed a couple years ago. And the Bloods and the Crips, like, love this dude. And so they put a mural up on you know, in LA, like they do when, you know, one of the homies dies. And these Bloods show up and desecrate the mural. And so the kid's on Instagram. I remember that. He's on Instagram talking to his buddy. And his buddy was like the main guy that, we're going to do this and disrespect Nipsey Hussle. And people are like, yo, one of y'all are going to get got for that shit. And you see him on Instagram going, try it. He's got his gun, try it. Just a news flash. If you have a gun, other people have guns too. You're not the only person on the planet with a gun. I understand these dudes like flashing their weapons on Instagram. Like, I would have never done that shit in high school. We would have never done that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just dumb. It's just crazy to me. Like, but the point is, so these two kids, then they're literally kids. One of them was 18, one of them was 19. They're on Instagram talking to each other, and then you see the kid look this way. And then it's ba 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 ba.
He smiles first, right?
Yeah. Because I mean, he was set up. They had a girl there and all the, you know, typical shit. And it's a terrible video. It's a terrible video because you hear the kid saying like, "Come get me," blah blah blah, and his friend is like, "What the fuck?" And you know, it's a pretty ugly scene. And one of the senior Blood guys was on talking about it, and he was like, "Nah, leave the video up there." He's like, if you don't have the stomach to see that shit, then get out of this gang shit. If you guys can't see that shit and know that you're about that life, then get the fuck out. So he was saying, keep the video up. That was one of his little homies that died, but he's like, keep that shit. But that's the thing about like Americans is like, we're fine with co-signing wars. We're fine with fucking around with other people's, you know, in other people's countries and shit and fucking them up.
Yep.
But now the American, and I'm not talking about the American soldier because, you know, dude, like we got folks in here that have seen the ramifications of this shit.
Right.
And shout out to JC, like had to see the ramifications. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the regular suburban American citizen who hears about, oh, we killed these people and it's completely fine, and then they see this is what the shit actually looks like that your country's doing to people. This is what your tax dollars doing, and now you don't have the stomach to look at it. You don't have the stomach to look at it, but you're going to vote for people who are going to continuously do this to people all over the world. And you're going to hear about it on CNN, and you're not going to look at it. You're not going to look deeply. You're just going to go along your day. Because as long as the shit is happening over there, it's okay. But you don't want to see what our actual foreign policy actually does to human beings. You don't have the stomach for it.
Babe, how come... I mean, with the amount of people that we have, soldiers and all the different forces that we have... Why doesn't the amount of people that are in that means all those people probably have family members. So why doesn't that tip the scale for what the public sees or believes?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean...
What do you mean by
as
that?
in how horrible war is or how horrible those things... You know what I mean? Like...
Well, most people that have been through extremely
violent
violent
or are the soldiers
situations.
believing like some kind of propaganda where they're there for like a bigger cause, but it's actually for oil or something? Or am I
well,
just looking at
most
this too
people that are
simply?
really seeing horrible, terrible shit are not going to go home and tell their families about it, right? Especially
right.
if they took part in the horrible, terrible shit. They're not going to say.
That's right.
They're not going to
That's
say.
Right.
We sectioned this area, and so we lit up that area, and then when we we went to check it out, there were like 3 kids. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to take that shit with them to the grave. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a stupid question.
Oh, it's not a stupid question. It's a question asked from somebody who's doesn't take part in that shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you asked those questions, but I sometimes get resentful of regular Americans who change the channel when they see that shit, or these 2 people are falling out of this aircraft because they were so desperate to get out of Afghanistan, and you just watch it, and I watch people. I'm like, okay, this is a really fucking horrible story. Let me see, and like,
look at Joe.
Americans are just
Jeez,
Americans are completely like, and then Joe says like he got drunk one time, talked to his mom, and she never looked at him the same. And that's why a lot of us ain't gonna say shit.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, what was that? Was it that? Wasn't it the
Homeland?
Tudors?
Oh,
remember that guy? And he was like, the king had sent him to go to war.
Yeah.
And like,
right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, he's like, yeah, I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. So finally, he talked to her about it. She fucking divorced him after that.
Yep.
Like, they were never the same after that.
Yep.
I was like, I don't even know I should share that story, but that shit is real, man. Like, it's just really, really hard for me, like the average American citizen, especially a lot of these like, and I don't want to stereotype people, but people will watch a certain news station and follow certain personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just this monochromatic understanding of the world and what's happening, and it's always us being the good guys and all the rest of it. Because, like I said, like I don't care.
I used to think that.
Listen, I don't care. I think everybody needs to sit there at the end of the day. Like, I love my country, and I'm never gonna stop loving my country. Somebody in the comment section on Middle America was like, you should stop saying the great nation of America. I'm never gonna do that, because this is our place, and it's our family, and I get it. We're fucked up, and I'll be the first to say it, but I'm never gonna fucking disavow my country, bro. Like, it's. So, but yeah, that first verse just reminded me of what's going on here. Enemy of God, purity and innocence is killed. Enemy of God, peace has died the day when life stood still. Yeah, I just wish. I just wish that there were. I wish there was like some sort of required documentary or series of documentaries that you had to look at in high school. Mm-hmm. That said, this is what war is. Mm-hmm. One of the major gaps when people talk about warfare is sexual assault. People will never talk about that. And that is a guarantee.
every single time there is a war, you're going to be a massive uptick in sexual assaults against vulnerable women. That's just a fact, but it never gets talked about. So to me, I'd be like, okay, by the time you graduate from high school, you're going to see what it looks like, what the aftermath of a drone strike is, what a 7.62 round does to a person's head. Like, people need to see all that shit. This is what happens to a country when there's a shift in balance of power and you see all these executions and shit. Like, I want people to see that shit before they can vote. You should have to watch that before they can vote. And if you want to watch that and you see all that shit and you've been inundated with it, let's say you've watched 24 hours of just horror of war over a period of a couple weeks, then you can vote for somebody who's got war in their platform. If you can look at all that shit and know with clear eyes what you're about to do to this region of the world and the burden that these guys are going to have to carry, show the aftermath of what happens when these guys are in a parking lot because he won a Medal of Honor, but all of his friends are dead, so he wants to kill himself. Show people that. And people would be a lot less cavalier about sending people off to war. Or they'd be a lot less cavalier when they hear,
or hopefully they
a drone strike hit. Now you're going to see, I saw that was week 2. And I saw what a body looks like after it's been drone bombed. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
There's got to be some kind of thing to connect people to the realities of war. We found a woman gutted and turned into an IED. An IED is an improvised explosive device. So she's on the ground, and U.S. medics always, as long as the situation is neutral, we can help the enemy or whatever. And so you go there to help this lady, and then kablooey. Like, people have no idea. And why do people use tactics like that? Why do people use tactics? How could they do that? They use tactics like that because we have overwhelming power. Okay? So they know they can't square up with us one-on-one, carbine for carbine and cordite for cordite. They know they can't do that. So They come up with other ways of dealing with this shit. So it's terrible, man. You got to avoid war by any means necessary.
Wow. Wow, that just makes you rethink a lot of things. Like the different stories that you hear about. I don't know which war it was or what they were talking about, but there was like a kid with a bowl of rice and he was walking up to the soldiers and the soldiers had to kill him because they didn't know if it was a real bowl of rice or if he had something strapped on him, and it turns out he didn't have anything on him. He was just a kid with the rice. But it's stuff like that it's like, well, it's the tactics like that, like gutting out a woman's body and putting it, like, it's things like that make you say, well, we can't take the chance with this kid walking up with the rice. But it makes the soldiers look like crazy. Oh my God, they killed a kid with a bowl of rice. But at the same time, like, it also makes those other people like, what? You would send a child into a situation like that? But then, like you said, yeah, if we're the superpowers and they have to start using creative ways to try to, wow, what a messy, wow. I literally never thought of that before.
Yeah. But that's the average American. It's like, oh yeah. And like, it's almost a ritual now where as soon as the president gets signed in, they ritualistically have to do something in the Middle East. So,
that's sick. Really sick.
Trump got signed in. He authorized that mission in Yemen to finish off al-Awlaki's family. His little 6-year-old daughter. They blew her head out.
No, really?
Anwar al-Awlaki's daughter. Yeah, that was the first op that Trump signed off on. And they killed al-Awlaki's 6-year-old daughter. They killed him during the Obama administration. Killed Abdul Rahman, his son, 2 weeks later, 16 years old. And then when Obama handed the ball off to Trump, that was the first mission he authorized in Yemen. And they went out there and blew her away. She was 6 years old. And the only reason the public heard about that op was because there was a DevGru guy that got killed. And then Trump did the State of the Union. Oh, your husband's looking down on us. Blah 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 blah. And obviously, rest in peace to the homie. Fair winds, bro.
Wait. So his wife found out that he was on a mission to kill a 6-year-old girl, and he died in that mission.
Well, the mission wasn't to kill a 6-year-old girl, obviously, but she ended up dying in the crossfire.
Oh.
Her brother, her cousin described seeing her head explode when they were running. Yeah. Like, this is a shit we do to people. And the only thing that Americans heard about it was a DevGru guy died. You see what I'm saying? So then when you combine religion into this, right? Because he's talking about enemy of God. But when you put religion into this, and he says, you know, in verse 2, fanatics bring mayhem to life. You know, like, you get these crazy... And when I talk about fanaticism, everybody's going to immediately think about the Islamic stuff. What about all the Christians? Look, we had preachers, you know, asking God to make sure that the bombs landed perfectly. I remember seeing that in church, that the bombs and the bullets and all that shit would find their marks, and all this other crazy bullshit. Now, look, if you're a Christian in a country, at minimum, you should be praying for peace, right? Considering God so loved the world. But it's all this craziness about how God is like, he's in America, he's got a fucking, you know, American tattoo on his thigh and all this shit. And so anything that we do, God's just going to co-sign. So you have, here's what's happening sociologically. You have a group of people who are being attacked by people infinitely more powerful than them. And so when you're in a situation where you can't control, that's a big time to get religious. So now you got these people who are being completely, you know, outgunned, outmanned, whatever. And so their religion gives them a fuel to kind of restore their own dignity and the will to fight back. So now they've got this entire rubric of, hey, if we die in jihad, we're going to miss the judgment. You know, we're going to miss Yom Al-Qiyamah.
Yep.
Right? So my point is, I understand the religiosity of Muslim extremists. I don't understand Christian warmongering. I don't understand that. I understand Muslims who are being attacked utilizing their religion for defensive purposes, right?
Yeah.
But I don't understand Christians who are in the country of the aggressor praying for God to be on the side of the aggressor. When has Jesus ever been on the side of the powerful over and against the vulnerable?
Right.
When has that ever happened?
Right.
But we got into an area where you had people praying that the bullets and all the rest of it would find their marks. It's like, please God, help us kill these people, and according to their theology, send them to hell forever. Forever. That's
I don't know, babe. That's pretty crazy.
And people, you know, like, this shit is crazy, man.
I'm trying to remember if I ever heard something like that before.
My original name was Muhammad. I had to legally change for a reason. Oh, and Jesus was originally Middle Eastern. Things are not going to go well here in the U.S. after all this crap we see nowadays. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy you had to change your name, but I completely understand it. There are a few priests here in Brazil criticizing other priests for giving food to the poor.
That's unbelievable.
This shit is crazy. So, like, that's the irony of the song. The song is called "Enemy of God," and it's it's really interesting because he went crazy. Look, he said, "A godless Mecca now awaits."
Yes.
Yikes.
Yes.
So that's I remember after 9/11 happened, somebody said we need to go blow up the Mecca. We need to blow up the Kaaba. And I remember somebody said that, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do that shit. It was the day after 9/11. I was in AP English, and somebody was like, we just need to bomb that building that they have over there in Mecca. I was like, hell yeah.
If they did that,
I was like, hell yeah. That would be the end.
It would be the, because I think there's so many people in that religion that they're kind of like how kind of Christians can be. Like they're Muslims, but they're not like serious. Like,
Yeah,
I think they should be doing
nominal, a name only.
Right. But if you did something like that, I think that it would galvanize.
Oh yeah, it would.
That would be messy.
It would. Yeah, that would just be horrible. But as Lisa says, you know, the world has fashioned a god to meet their own needs. Holy shit!
Yikes!
Woo! If you can't say amen, you gotta say ouch.
With that thing. Burr, burr, burr.
She's gonna get an air horn for that.
Yeah.
The song itself, the metal was crazy. I thoroughly enjoyed the heaviness of the song.
Yeah.
That drummer, and I usually don't. We never usually give the drummer any love, but that drummer was bad as hell, bro. He was a bad man. I loved him. So Tina. By the way, guys, there's a Tina stream coming pretty soon here. There's Ben. God always behaves as his believers, never the other way around. That's a good one. Although you can't say that about Jesus, because all of Jesus' followers wanted to tool up and go to war, and he wouldn't let them.
Yeah, but I think he's talking about the version that we're saying, like, well, isn't that weird that all of a sudden God is acting like the people at the church instead of the church acting like the people?
Yes, that's true. First Mecca, then the Vatican. See, there would be an absolute bloodbath if you did something to Mecca. I don't think there would be a bloodbath if you did something to the Vatican. And Catholics ain't about that life anymore.
No, right. I think back a while ago, you could have. It would have been, when it was all like when the word of the priest and the Pope had a lot more weight than it does now.
Oh yeah,
they've lost a ton of credibility.
Was Robertson Jennis?
Yeah.
So there was a time, like early '90s, James White was debating all these Catholics, and he was just like, he was killing them. And so White was debating Jerry Matitix. Jerry Matitix is like the most brilliant Roman Catholic apologist. He's deceptive as fuck, but he's brilliant.
James White, you should be calling out Vaughty.
And he
that needs to be said.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. And I don't think he's going to see this video, but it has to be said.
Well, he's already seen a video where I talked to him about it, though. You know what I'm saying? That's why his man came and said, well, I didn't say it. Vaughty said it. And their whole shtick is like, we're manly, we're bringing back masculinity, Christianity. But then when it's time to like roll out, they're soft as hell. But nobody knows what we're talking about, and that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Not arguing, just...
So you were bringing up James White.
Yeah, so Jerry Matitix didn't do very well in that debate. And Jennis goes, ever since we stopped torturing people, it's become really, really hard to get confidence.
He didn't think that through.
Well, so Jennis is like he's almost like a Sedevacantist. He's like on the line. Like he's a hyper. He's got nothing good to say about the current Pope. You know what I'm saying? Like he's an old school Catholic.
Yeah.
He's like, ever since we stopped torturing people, this shit has been a lot more difficult.
Okay.
DJ AT says, not arguing, but curious of the significance of the rocket Mecca. Predates Muhammad, right? Why worship it? Well, the Muslims would say that they don't worship it. Actually, there's a very interesting hadith, AT, with Umar ibn al-Khattab, where Umar is actually talking to the rock. And he's saying, he basically says to the rock, if it wasn't for Rasulullah, I would have nothing to do with you, because you can't do me any harm or good. But because it's Rasulullah, so I think most modern people believe it's just a meteor. But in Islamic theology, and you're right, it does predate Islamic theology, in the Arabian Peninsula at the time, the story was that this was a rock that came from the gardens of Jannah. Jannah is, paradise, heaven. So it fell from the heavens. It fell from the heavens. And so, there you had the stone, and they kissed the stone and all that stuff. But yeah, CB, that's interesting. We gotta hook up and talk. Ironically, the peace and the truce of God was the first mass peace movement in history led by the church. Yeah. I believe that Christians, we have the best template for a lasting, realistic peace. Mm-hmm. The problem is there's going to have to be a couple generations of people paying really heavy prices. The American church loves to talk about the martyrs. Mm-hmm. They'll talk about the first Christians. Hell, we'll even have Voice of the Martyrs conferences where I've actually, this is like one of the pinnacles of my life, being actually able to hold an an actual Chinese Christian who actually suffered in those prisons horrifically for the gospel. This girl was like this tall, but subhanallah, she is, you know, unbelievable stuff. But especially American Christians, man, we don't want any part of that energy, bro. We ain't trying to do that. No. I mean, you can't even convince regular American Christians to eke out a little bit in extra in taxes for Medicare for all. These people won't even do that because they're saving up for their 401k. But they'd be willing to lay down their lives for the gospel. That's why so many Christians are so pro-war, because they know that our policies are about, you know, maintaining American supremacy in the world, and they want that. So they're fine. They're fine with all this shit, and they know that none of this shit is justifiable in the New Testament. They know. Because you've seen me. I've been in actual moderated debates with Christians on this topic, like actual moderated debates with time stamps and everything.
Right.
And during the cross-examination, the guy refused to answer the question. He literally said, "I'm not going to answer." Right? Because it completely there's no way to harmonize this bullshit ideology with the New Testament or Jesus. You know, it's like Tasco said.
Yep.
They obviously don't understand what Jesus was saying.
Yep.
And that's because Tasco is too nice of a guy. They understand what Jesus is saying. They're just saying, well, we're not going to do that, though. We're not going to let anybody crucify us. We're not going to let anybody kill us. Hell, we're not even going to let anybody say anything negative to us without us responding. Much less, you know, whatever. And then, like, you become... It's really ironic is that... And it's interesting because the people who are called enemies of God and enemies of the gospel in the New Testament are not pagans. In Philippians 3, Paul says, beware of the dogs, the mutilators of the flesh, blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about religious people, hyper-religious people. Those are the ones that get called dogs in the New Testament, hyper-religious people. The tax collectors and sinners, Jesus never uses terminology like that for them. But the religious people get called vipers, snakes, dogs, brute beasts, bred only to be caught and destroyed in Jude. It's all religious people. So the name of the song is Enemy of God. And I'm sure they were trying to be ironic, but it's extremely biblical. Extremely biblical. And then, as Ben Webb says, I'm still unconvinced you can both be a capitalist and a Christian. Well, be a socialist Christian, Ben, and show us the way. Stop fighting against your creator.
Yeah, Ben.
What do you give... Oh, yeah! That's right. Did the last Kreator review cause an hour-plus long argument between you guys about Islam? Remember that one?
Yes,
and I was talking about, what's her face? Who was the girl from TYT? Anna. Anna was talking about how the hijab was bothering her. And so, because they were talking about one of the hijab laws, I tried to find it. I didn't know about TYT, like, they erase everything that they don't, you know what I'm saying, that makes them look bad. Because that was right before Ilhan Omar, and of course Ilhan is rocking a hijab. So they had to completely delete that. But yeah, so we got in a giant conversation about, I think it was about the hijab and about how oppressive it was versus...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we probably did.
Yeah.
You see the time, babe? You have that meeting?
Yeah, I do have that meeting. What did you give this song?
It was really heavy. Drumming was really good. Important song. 9.2.
This is still a 10 to me. Because lyrically it was crazy, and sonically it was insane, and the drummer was ridiculous. And it was definitely worth the wait in my... It's a 10 for me.
Well, there you have it.
There you are, dear listeners. Shout out to the big homie, DJ freaking Code Slammer. This was such a good stream, bro.
Yep.
Really, really, really,
and
really
a super cool ending that it was somebody else's pick that you let come into the lineup.
Yeah, and of course, Ben Webb doesn't know what he's talking about. Prosperity gospel is not a thing you can derive from Jesus. That was more so Paul. Ridiculous, Ben. That's completely and totally ridiculous. You literally just made that up. But that's Ben Webb. That's my guy. I love Ben, so everybody be nice to Ben. But I gotta say, Code Slammer, holy moly, you rocked this. Here's Code Slammer right here, guys. That's the big homie Code Slammer. We'll put him between me.
Hello.
We'll put him between me and Sarai. Really, really good one, Code Slammer. Really, really good one. I loved all the songs. They were really,
they all
really
got
good.
super high ratings.
Yeah, they got mega high ratings. Shout out to Cold Slammer. I gotta make that significant now. All right, rest in peace, ears. Rest in peace, ears.
Woohoo!
I wish you guys could be in New York.
I know.
When that shit plays in the
I
street,
bet.
everybody
It would be
stops.
so
boom,
fun.
boom, boom, boom. I'm like, stop shooting, nigga. What you doing? Oh man! Shout out to the big homie Code Slammer. Shout out to CEB. One of these days I'm gonna do like a Ask Me Anything, Christian stream or whatever. You guys can we can go at it. But thanks to Code Slammer. Shout out to Tina and the next couple DJs. We're also gonna be doing a Ronin stream pretty soon where it's one-off songs for people who aren't doing a DJ stream. So there you go. Having said that, dear listener, love your neighbor. Take care of each other. I'm serious though. Love your neighbor. Do something. Get somebody something at Starbucks. Give a tip at Starbucks. Something like that. Do something. We'll have that beer pretty soon there, Josie. I got a very important appointment with a very important young lady. Having said that.